Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. I'm Stefania. As you can see, I have my reading journal here, and this is because today I'm gonna go through a little flip through of the pages that I've created in May. I know I'm so late with it, so I'm sorry about it, but as I've said before, I wanted to give priority to the Plan With Me videos. I thought about it, and I've decided to keep on doing it in the same way that I've done up until now. So each single month will have its own flip through. I won't make a flip through with 2 months together because I like the idea of having them all divided, and also because it would be a very long video. So for today it's gonna be May. I hope to be able to do a June flip through soon, but to be honest, I still have a book or two to work onto it, so we'll see. As always, I want to start with my yearly pages. So the name page, the cover, books of 2022, I've added 7 more books. Bingo, I've read a fantasy. Actually, I've read more than one fantasy this month, and a book that's kind of, let's say, going crazy on social media. I had to read it because it was everywhere, so I had to. A reading tracker, as always. I think I'll never get tired of saying it. I don't like how this one is turning out. I guess I'll have to think about something different for next year. Anyway, I'm really happy because I've managed to read a lot. Like, the number of books is 7, which is kind of, I would say, my typical number by now. But this time the books were definitely longer than usually, and more pages, so I ended up reading more than 3,000 pages, and a lot of days I read more than 100 pages, and I've also managed to reach 200 pages sometimes, and even 300, so I'm really happy about it. So yeah, it's kind of it. I think that for next year I will probably change it, or if I'm gonna leave something like that, I will definitely change and use different colors and not like only brown. I don't know why. Anyway, Goodreads challenge, and here's the thing, I'm running out of space because I'm doing this flip through and we're in July, and in June I've read a lot of books, and well, there's not enough space, so I'll have to add something, but I still don't know how exactly I'm gonna do it. Anyway, I'm gonna think about it when I arrive here. All of this because I was so sure I wouldn't have read more than 30 books, let's leave alone 50, and so I didn't leave any extra pages for it. And it's definitely something I'm gonna do next year, and also for another spread, but we're gonna talk about that later. As you can see, this month there were 2 5 stars. So it was pretty hard to choose my book of the month. It was very hard. Actually, I would say that this month I'm almost read only everything from an author, but we're gonna talk about it later. Anyway, 2 5 stars is good, very good. This is the other spread that I was talking about, books read in 2022. As I've said before, I was thinking to reach 30 books last year when I decided to set up my reading journal, and something happened this year. I'm reading like crazy, so I had space for 32 books if I'm not wrong, but with May I've read my 33rd book, so yeah, I had to fix in a way or another, and this is what I came up with because I didn't want to create the spread in another part, like I wanted to have it all together. As you can see, I mean, you can't see it, but if you've seen my previously flip through, you know that I'm not really happy with this, because this was going all in, let's say, this was wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, this was my 30, 31st, 32nd or whatever book, and it was going perfectly well. So at first I wanted to create something that was like opening in this way, but then I wasn't sure, and well, I've ended up adding this. So my plan now is to keep on going and put all the next books here, then I'll move in this part, and then I'll see what's gonna happen. Like if I will be if I will have enough space only with this, at the end of the year I will have something here just to make a little bit better. But in case I'm gonna run out of space with also this two edition, I'm gonna use the front. There's something that I still have to see. As you can see, May started from here, and then it was almost all taken by A Court of Thorns and Roses. So yeah, that's why I said I've read definitely fantasy this month. Book for each month. Okay, I ended up choosing A Court of Mist and Fury, and it was hard. Ortiz or A Court of Wings and Rain. At first I wanted this, but then this, but then this, but then this. Then I stopped for 30 seconds, took a breath, and I've decided that the second book was my favorite one, and so I've decided to put this one for May. I forgot to put the rating anyway, it was a 5-star this one as well. They were both 5 stars, so yep. Series tracker, I read the whole series, so I colored everything. Books, I started with The Seventh Husband of Evelyn Hugo, and then up until here. And well, I'm gonna explain the reason why for this month I read a lot of physical books when we're gonna reach the monthly pages. You should read is nothing is new. I think probably I've added a title or two from last time, but I'm not sure. Anyway, didn't read anything that was suggested to me, not a news. So, reading stats. In May, I've read 7 books, 3,086 pages. 2 of the 7 books were ebooks, and the other 5 books were physical books. And so that's it for the yearly pages. As always, I will leave my stats pages for, let's say, the end of the year. Anyway. And now it's time to talk about May. And we're gonna start with the cover page. As always, in case you missed it, the Plan With Me video, it's already on YouTube, so you can go and check it out to see what I've done to create all the pages. And you're gonna also find out that these stickers, the Narcissus one, well, I've created them, and there's a reason why I've decided to go with them for this month. So be sure to check out the Plan With Me in case you missed it to know more about it. Here we go with my monthly view, where I've done a few mistakes here and there. Mainly it's because the title of the book, actually books, because they happen with more than one, in English were with, let's say that the English version and the Italian version weren't exactly the same. So I kind of had a little problem there. Let's say that you call it a court of, so translated in Italian it should be una corte di, but for some weird reason, I don't know why, they've decided to call them sometimes with not one but la, as if it would be the court of. So that's kind of what messed my brain while I was doing it. Anyway, as you can see, I've read a lot of physical books, and at the end of the month I kind of moved to ebooks. A reading tracker, I've managed to read each single day, and this month it was amazing. Let's say that when I started my month, I was trying to keep it up well. Then I started the whole series, and when I started after the first book, it's kind of, I would say, a little bit a pain, don't get me wrong. So the first few days I wasn't feeling it, but I pushed through, and I'm happy I've done that. And then when I reached the second and third book, that's definitely when I couldn't just stop. And so yes, I've read a lot, really. Books of May, as you can see, The Dutch Door was amazing. the perfect idea, I would say, to create. So I was able to have all the title of the books, and here there was one which had a lot of space for itself. Anyway, main review, I've read 7 books, 5 of them were physical books and 2 were ebooks. I've given a total of 29 stars. Bingo, I've read a book that's going crazy on social media, I would say, and a fantasy. I've read 3,086 pages. I've read a whole series, Akutar, I've decided to put it for short. I've read for 31 days, so each single day in the month, and my favorite book was A Court of Mist and Fury. And now it's time to start with my first book of the month, which was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. As always, I won't talk too much about the books because I don't want to give any spoilers, and like every single time I do a flip through, I always want to say this, that the photos that I use for the book spreads are never made by me. Same for the fan art. I'm not that good. I'm not able to do anything like this. So yes, just to say it. This was the book that was like everywhere. I was opening Instagram or TikTok. It was everywhere, so I had to read it. Was it 5 stars for me? No. It went pretty close. The problem was that at a certain point, I kind of saw how it was going to end. I got it why Monique was the one that was chosen by Evelyn for the whole time. Like, why choosing a perfect stranger? And so that kind of made me think a little bit more about giving it 5 or 4 stars. So I've decided to go for, let's say, a 3.5 stars, but it wasn't a 5 stars for me. I mean, if I would have given it 5 stars, I wouldn't be honest with myself, I would say. But I really liked it, and kind of happy of reading it. Also, you're gonna see that this month I've used this washi tape almost every single time. It's crazy. Now, here we're gonna start with A Court of Thorns and Roses. Here's the thing. Why I've decided to start this series? For one simple reason. First, it was everywhere, and second, this. In Italy, they've decided to come out with a special edition, let's call it in this way. This little creature, where there are the first, the second, the third, and also I call it the 4th book. Some people, it's like, it's just a novella, it's a 3.5. Anyway, you got it. The only one that's missing is, let's say, Nesta's story. So that one, I've decided to read it in the ebook version. I had to buy this one because, first of all, I like this cover page 100 times more than the classical cover page that were chosen. If I'm gonna find them, I'm sorry, but I really don't like these covers. So I was already in love with the cover page, but most of all because this book was around 30 euros, while each single book was around 20 euros. So that's the main reason why I've done it. Anyway, let me put it away. The only bad thing about a book is that it's hard to bring it somewhere if you're not gonna read it home. Anyway, I'm gonna try to give it a fast thing and move to the next book, so I'll try to talk about them all kind of together while I'm gonna flip through the pages. I have to say one thing, the first book is definitely, I would call it a bad starting. I've kind of read it everywhere, I would say. A lot of people if you're gonna start this series, don't stop with the first book, and I completely agree. If you're gonna read only the first book, you're gonna be a little bit disappointed, but believe me, from the second, it's gonna be amazing. The first one, it's definitely, I would say, a bad beginning. I'm sorry. Did I enjoy it? Yes, but the second and the third were definitely another thing. 1,000 times better. I won't talk too much about this series because, like, the main characters, because I have to admit that Sarah definitely has a good mind, an amazing brain when it decides to come out with a name. Like, I think that I wouldn't say a single name in the right way. And I've decided to start with July, another series by her, because if I would have never done it, then I've decided to do it. And so when I started July with the first book, I knew that for the next 7 books I was already, let's say, taken by someone. But the names that she always create are incredibly hard for me to pronounce. Like, I already do a lot of mistakes when I talk, but names, oh gosh, they're not my thing at all. So yeah, it's amazing, and I love all the fan arts I've had it here and there for the second. Then I moved to the third book, and I'm gonna be honest, when I was done with the second one, I started the third like in 5 minutes. And I was like so happy that I did it like this. Like that I've waited for, let's say, the series to be over, which is not over actually, but like technically I thought it was over since in Italy they came out with that big version. Then I found out there wasn't the one that was already out. And anyway, because if I would have read the books by the time they were coming out after the second one, I wouldn't been able to wait for the third one. Like the way the second ends, you can't stop. You have to start the third. Then there is the short thing some of you call it, well, I don't know how to call it, short story, call it however you want. For some people, it was definitely a no. For other, was a yes. I would say I'm in between. Like, I like the idea of seeing the story from more point of views, but at the same time, I kind of miss seeing from the same point of views that were in the previous books. And most of all, according to me, here there were way too many point of views. Anyway, it was an enjoyable read, so yeah. And once I was done, I found out that they came out already with A Court of Silver Flames. And I decided to read a book version because I didn't like the cover of the physical book. First reason. Second reason, the Italian version really, it kind of sucks. Like grammatically talking, I don't know who translated it, but it looks like it was done by some students and not someone who does it as a job. The cover of the Italian version isn't that bad, like it's better if compared to the other cover, but it has no sense according to me. Like, if you're gonna look at it, you won't even understand who the person is, because if you're gonna read the book, you're gonna be like, and who's this one? I get that maybe the author did it on purpose to keep on showing the same things over and over and over and over. Maybe to give the idea that that was Nastar's routine, so that's what she's doing now. But what's gonna happen once she's gonna move on? Like, to create a kind of, I would say, questions and kind of fearing the unknown. But definitely it was a little bit too much, and so it was definitely not the best according to me. Anyway, I still enjoyed it, but not as much as the second and third. Then I decided to change completely and went to Call It What You Want. I would say that this book had all the potential to be a 5 stars. Really. But it wasn't a 5 stars. I'm sorry to say this, at least not for me. I would say that the topics were strong topics that could have been definitely done in a better way. I was thinking a lot when it came to the rating for this book, because if I had to see only about the meaning behind it and everything, I would have rated a certain way. But then there was also the story itself and that kind of definitely turned out everything. So yeah, it wasn't, let's say I was a little bit disappointed with it. So I would say that this is all for May. I was wondering, as always, if you read anything that I've read in May. That's all for the month of May, my reading journal. As always, I'm so sorry for all the mistakes that I've done. It's just that when I start talking and I start going through the flip through, I kind of stop thinking sometimes, and so I know I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm sorry. The problem is that I only realize it while I'm editing everything, and I'm always running out of time, and so I don't go back and shoot everything again. So I'm sorry about that. Anyway, other than that, I really want to know if you read anything that I've read in May, or what else have you read in May, even if we are in July. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for sticking with me for the whole video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Also, remember to subscribe for more videos like this one and for the Plan With Me videos. And also, as always, I wanted to ask you if you have any requests, feel free to leave a comment with them. So I will be more than happy to do something that's gonna be what you want to see, I would say. See you next time. Bye!